Hello there guys, my name is MrYorkiesWorld, welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time since I last made a video here on the channel, I do apologise for that. As many of you already know, I do have a second job outside of YouTube. I actually work in a hospital for the National Health Service, or NHS, here in the United Kingdom. And with the current COVID-19 pandemic going on, obviously we've been very busy, extremely busy in fact, trying to keep the hospital as safe as possible and everything running as smoothly as we possibly can. Alongside that, most of you already know that I already have very young children. I've got two young children, and so obviously family time has been very important as well. It's been a very, very important factor to take into account. Now, at the time of making this video, which is Monday the 27th of April 2020, there have been a lot of changes in the flight sim world, not just in terms of the simulators that we use and that we know and love, but obviously everything about them, every single thing about them, such as add-ons and things like that, everything has changed basically. So we've had P3D version 5 that's been released. I literally only became aware of that yesterday, which was the 26th of April 2020, and we've also had some new and exciting news from Microsoft regarding FS 2020, which again, that is something that I'm going to be focusing on quite a bit today. I thought what I'd do for this particular video is I've taken a look at an article from tweaktown.com. I'll put a link to that article below, and I literally just came across that randomly. I've got these email alerts that come up with anything in a Google search to do with FS 2020 that's new. It comes up and emails me and lets me know that there's a new article or some new news or something like that. So I noticed the article. It's from a website called tweaktown.com. I've got no idea whether it's a reputable site or not. I just literally get the emails. So here we go. I'm going to try and go through the information and the new screenshots for FS 2020, and I'm going to try and make sort of a video where I give you guys my opinions and my views on the things that are surrounding FS 2020. Sort of something I can be doing in the background. Instead of me doing these full flight videos for now while I've not really got time, I thought it might be helpful if I can just at least post something on the channel. So I'm hoping that this goes down well. So, as you can probably see on the website or on the screen in front of you on this video, the article says Microsoft Flight Simulator looks breathtaking in these new screenshots. These new screenshots of Flight Simulator should be enough to get you to upgrade your PC. Now, if we look at those screenshots, which I'll try and place some in the video as we're speaking right now, you can sort of understand why you would want to upgrade your PC and why I will be upgrading my PC slightly as well. It absolutely looks magnificent. You can see the amount of detail there in terms of the weather, the aircraft, the components of that aircraft, the very fine detail. And even in some cases, if we see some of these screenshots, you'll see the night lighting and sort of the nighttime imagery as well. There's only one or two, I think, but it looks absolutely fantastic. And it's one of the major things about FS 2020 that I'm looking forward to is the graphics and how good things are portrayed in these videos to look. Now, my personal opinion, which it has changed a lot over the last few months, is that my focus, once this new simulator comes out, is definitely going to be more on FS 2020, I think, than P3D. That doesn't mean that P3D is going to be removed from the channel. Absolutely not. I haven't bought P3D version 5 yet, by the way. But I think it's safe to say FS 2020 will more than likely suit this channel a lot better. And I'm going to go into some detail as to why I think that is. So, for example, from a licensing point of view, P3D requires, in an ideal world, the reason that you've purchased it, as you can see on my videos on the top right-hand side, top right-hand corner, sorry, I have academic license, and that's for people who are literally using it for that purpose, for training, because they're studying to become a pilot, etc, etc. And one of the main things that I've always said throughout all of my videos is I'm not a pilot. I never have been and never will be. I literally just like flight simulation. I like aviation in general, as something that I sort of like to read about, to watch, and to obviously simulate in a simulator. So in terms of the licensing, it makes it easier for me if FS 2020 is the platform for the channel. I'm not sure what you guys will think on that, but let me know, because obviously I'm not going to eliminate P3D completely. But the idea behind this is that FS 2020 is more than likely, especially how we see all these amazing screenshots and how much more advanced it is than P3D, it's more than likely going to take the spotlight for a while. So, in terms of that, obviously, I think we're safe with FS 2020 as a base, because they have said it's a game, but it's also a simulator. They've emphasised on the fact, Microsoft have, that FS 2020 is very much going to be a very up-to-date and very accurate simulator. The fact that that sort of changes things around and makes it work better for the channel is the fact that it's coming out on Xbox One as well. Now that tells me that it's more than likely not going to be just restricted to serious flyers and training pilots and things like that. So that should eliminate a lot of the hoops that I currently have to jump through on this channel to be able to make the videos that I make with P3D. And obviously the people out there who are license savvy and they know what they're talking about, you'll know what I mean. So, back to basics. Would I be willing to further upgrade my rig? Absolutely. As a lot of you know, I currently have the i9 9900K CPU. I've got 16 gigabytes of RAM, and I've got a Nvidia GeForce GTX 1080 Ti graphics card with 11 gigabytes of VRAM, or video RAM. I also have a 1TB SSD, which I've recently purchased, and that's actually dedicated for Flight Sim. So I'm going to be putting all the Flight Sim related stuff on there. So I'd say I'm pretty set up and ready to go, apart from the RAM, which I'll be hopefully upgrading from 16 gigabytes to 32 gigabytes very soon, just so that I can meet that recommended sort of set of specs that Microsoft has set out as much as possible. It does recommend a 2080. However, in terms of performance, there's always been that argument that the 1080 Ti, even though you can't really buy these things new anymore, performs pretty similar to the 2080. So for now, at least, I think I'm going to be sticking with the 1080 Ti, which should be able to handle the sim pretty well at 1080p anyway. The recommended video RAM is 8 gigabytes. The 1080 Ti has got 11, albeit a little bit slower RAM speed than the RTX 2080. But it should still manage pretty well, I think. So, now, back to this article. It does go on to say that your internet connection should ideally be about 50 megabytes per second for the best possible experience. Mine's pretty close to that already. However, I think I will be taking the time and the advantage of downloading certain areas of the world. I think it's going to be similar to what it's like in X-Plane, where you can download certain regions as sort of like an offline option. And if it does offer that, I will definitely be taking advantage of it. I doubt that I'm going to have space for the whole world sort of scenery, but we'll see how we go. We might have to come up with something to be able to accommodate that. Now, the article also includes a video from FS Elite, which shows off some new 4K footage from the simulator. Again, I'm very impressed with how things look and how good things look in this simulator. Everything looks smooth. It looks well developed. I can't see much sort of popping in of the scenery or the items. There is a little bit, but obviously we're still talking about an early product. We've not got the final version yet, so we don't know what's going to happen. And Microsoft have really gone to great length to try and replicate sort of the weather effects, the wind, how it affects turbulence. And of course, they've also got those sloped runways, which again is something that we've got in P3D version 5 now, with the sloped runways, as among other things as well, which I'll try not to go into because this video is supposed to be based around FS 2020. Now, I think we can all agree that the simulator, FS 2020, it is looking, at this moment in time, absolutely fantastic. I mean, let's just have a quick look at the actual specs from Microsoft here, just to recap what I previously said about the specs. So you can see that the minimum specs, so Windows 10, you've got to have like a Ryzen 3 1200 or an Intel i5 4460. Sort of, obviously, in my case, I'm sort of towards the right-hand side, towards the ideal specs. So I've got Windows 10, I've got to have a minimum ideal spec of Intel i7 9800X. Obviously, I've got the 9900K. RTX 2080, again, we're not really bothered about that because I've got the 1080 Ti. Video RAM, 8GB. Well, I'm going to have 11 to play with, so that's fine, give or take. And 32GB of RAM, which again, that upgrade is coming very soon. It says 150GB SSD. Again, I've got a terabyte SSD. And it says again, we've got here the 50 megabyte per second ideal spec for internet bandwidth, which mine is around that. But obviously, even the minimum spec says 5 megabytes per second. The recommended is 20. So I'm sort of like in between 20 and 50, probably more towards 50, so it should be absolutely fine. Shouldn't have a problem at all. So, in most cases, I think the majority of people who already use X-Plane or P3D should be fine with FS 2020 based on those specs. Obviously, depending on your individual setup, your add-ons, your internet speed, etc. For one, I am extremely excited to see what's in store in the next update from Microsoft. And of course, we've got to wait and see what that brings. And hopefully the simulator itself will be available very, very soon, or we might get a sort of a release date to look forward to, or a release window to look forward to. One thing I want to try, I have actually got an Xbox One, so there's a chance I might show everyone what the Xbox One version of the sim looks like compared to the PC version. I might make a few videos on that just to compare the two, and I might do a little bit of a sort of like a cross-examination of what the major differences are, what features you've got in one platform that you haven't in the other. But yeah, so overall, some really stunning footage, some really stunning images there. I absolutely cannot wait to see when the simulator itself is going to be released, as I've recently said there. I haven't, unfortunately, been lucky enough to be given access to the beta or anything like that, so I'm literally just still in the waiting game, the same as everybody else, but that's not a problem, that's perfectly fine. Life's very busy at the moment, so I can stick to videos similar to this and get some updates and things like that on the channel to keep things ticking over. Let me know if you'd like to see more videos similar to this one on the channel. Sort of little updates and news videos are something that I feel pretty confident I can handle at the moment. Obviously, given the state of things in life at the minute in general, it definitely works for me. It's nice and short, doesn't take too much of my time away from my family, doesn't take too much time away from work. So that's something I can definitely handle right now. Again, a few months down the line, a few weeks down the line, it might be completely different. When FS 2020 comes out, we're hopefully going to be seeing a major difference, and we'll have those full flight videos back again. And I want to just take the time to thank everyone who has been subscribed to me throughout all of this. We've made a massive 6k subscriber milestone on the channel while I've been away. I've yet to do any sort of actual celebration. I'm sure I'll do that at some point, or do some sort of giveaway or something crazy like that, which is something we normally do about these when we get these milestones. Thank you as well to everyone who has been sending me well wishes on my social media and sending donations in this difficult time. And thank you to my patrons over at Patreon as well. It all means a lot, and it really helps. Stay safe, everyone, even through this unprecedented time. And I know it's difficult to say stay safe. It's not really, it's not the same for one country as it is for another. But I know it's been difficult. And I know overall we're all suffering from this, from the effects of this pandemic, whether it be ourselves that have suffered, our family members that have suffered, or the fact that we've had to alter our lives so much. So I am everly grateful for all of you. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.